over Memorial Gym tonight. It's a game that, if I was still working in sports before the pandemic hit, would be talked about nonstop because the Tennessee Vols are coming to town to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores. But it's weird what's happening with the pandemic and the COVID protocols at Vanderbilt. It's a whole different thing going on over there. So let's bring in Justin Hershey. He is the sports editor of the Vanderbilt Hustler. Justin, thanks for doing this, man.
Morning, Joe. Of course. Happy to do it. And thanks so much for having me.
All right, so let's go back. You wrote an article a few weeks ago about the COVID protocols going to Vanderbilt, and you wrote it not so much in your position as the editor of the sports paper there, but as a student. Quickly explain the policy that Vanderbilt has for their basketball games when it comes to students.
Absolutely. So back on December 30th, as the Omicron variant kind of swept the nation, Vanderbilt came out and instituted some new COVID-19 guidelines for the second semester. One of those being pushing school back a week. So our first day of classes is actually today. It was formally scheduled to be last Monday. So with that change, they also instituted a week called Commodore's Care, which is coming up this week, which is essentially a dead period for in-person activities for students. So things like clubs and organizations on campus can't meet in person. They can only do so over Zoom or virtually. Really the only thing in person going on is eating and classes. And so as part of this Commodore's Care Week, Vanderbilt is restricting students from attending Memorial Gymnasium and attending basketball games through at least January 24th. So that's the policy we're dealing with right now. And like I said, it's kind of an at least January 24th thing for now, and we'll see if that continues.
So, all right, so that student section, there are people in that student section, because I saw them during the Kentucky game, that are not Vanderbilt students, correct?
Yes, astute eye there, Joe.
Who was sitting in those seats?
So the Vanderbilt Athletics Department tried to do their best and offer up tickets to just season ticket holders. They offered them originally to $20 to season ticket holders to upgrade and sit in the student section. They then offered them to some other, different fan groups, the Black and Gold Club, which is a group of Vanderbilt sports alumni. They offered them up to. But really what's happening is they're just being resold via that, resold on Ticketmaster, StubHub, wherever you might find your tickets. And that's kind of causing anyone can sit in our student section now because they're just being sold publicly.
Does that, I guess mad is not the word I'm looking for. Irate, annoying. I mean, there's all the adjectives we want to use here. What's the one that stands out to you? Because I'm thinking, Justin, if I'm a student at Vanderbilt University and I'm going to miss Kentucky, and I don't care about South Carolina, if I miss Kentucky and I miss Tennessee, I'm mad.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the sentiment on campus. I think for me, the word has been convoluted. I think it's so convoluted to think, just let that play out. The students of the university aren't going to be in the building. I think that's really strange and convoluted, yet it's still 100% capacity. And I think that's kind of where my column tried to hit on is, okay, so we're taking a hard stance on campus on COVID-19 issues. And I've supported Vanderbilt through and through on a lot of these things, but we're not going to take a stance for the general public who might be more compromised or this virus might be more dangerous to that student population. So that's really where I took issue, but agreed, convoluted, irate, angry. I've gotten all the sentiment from various students on campus texting me and things like that. So you're spot on.
We got your Twitter page up. You can follow me on Twitter at Justin Hershey 26 to do that. So what after this game tonight, is it back to status quo?
So through January 24th, so there's a women's game on Thursday that will also be affected. And then this weekend, I believe the teams hit the road. But so basically through next Monday is where the Commodore's Care period kind of ends and in-person activities can start once again. But like you said, the Tennessee game is consistently the biggest every year. I mean, Vanderbilt went, winless in the SEC my freshman year. Still, that Tennessee game was one of the best sporting environments I've been in a while, and it was a really close game down to the end. So this is a game that really students are hurting about missing this one, especially the seniors who have some really good memories of Tennessee games.
You don't have to answer this, but did you get blowback from your article? Because you weren't really taking anybody down. You're just offering opinion from your opinion. You're from the piece you wrote, a week and a half ago about how convoluted things are over there.
Yeah, I won't go too specifically, but no, nothing too high profile. I think I got a lot of good response from alumni and other supporters of the athletic department. I kind of said in there, I don't believe that this is really an Vanderbilt athletics driven thing. This has really come from higher up, really come from the university and this Commodore's care period. And athletic director Candace Story-Lee and that department was kind of boxed in by this new kind of Commodore's care period, but not a ton of blowback. I think I didn't try to be irrational with it. And I think that's kind of how it has come across to people.
I thought it was a very good article, and that's how I found you. I was reading the article, like, this is well written, well done. Here's another kind of quandary for you. As an editor of the paper, if you try to go get quotes from the Vanderbilt basketball team, say after the Kentucky game, as a student, are you allowed in to get interviews after the game, or is it all via Zoom?
Yeah, so ironically, student workers for Vanderbilt athletics, the dance and cheer teams, some other student workers who work inside Memorial Gym, including myself as media, we've been all allowed in, which has been great. I will be there tonight covering the Tennessee game as one of the only students in the building. So yeah, all that stuff has gone smoothly.
That would, again, just drive me crazy with that. So here's something else. Say nobody works for the student paper and just a student. Can you still get in the game if you just go a different route to get in there, but you're not sitting in the student section?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I have plenty of students who have been scalping tickets on Twitter. There's been alumni offering tickets up for free on Twitter to any students if they kind of live out of town or something like that. So yes, I know students. I have friends who were at the Kentucky game last week simply because they bought a cheap ticket on StubHub or scalped one via an alumni on Twitter.
That's just great. You know what makes me mad, Justin, as a basketball fan? This is a very talented and good Vanderbilt basketball team. I know not the best team in the country, but they're fun to watch. And you're just hurting the students with this policy, I think, because this is a fun basketball team.
No, I'm with you. And I think especially coming off the win on Saturday, they're 2-2 now, kind of back to level in the SEC. And this is a great chance for them against the Tennessee team that just got blown out by Kentucky. So it is a shame. It's definitely a shame for guys like Scottie Pippen Jr., who kind of deferred his NBA draft plans to come back and try to actually win games this year. Yet he's not in an environment right now that's too conducive to winning inside Memorial Gym, which is definitely a shame. And although the coaches won't say it, head coach Shea Roth of the women's squad and Jerry Stackhouse of the men's squad, they won't say it, but they've been supportive of the policy and things like that. But I know they're hurting on kind of not having that extra energy that students bring.
Oh, absolutely. And that's a great environment for college basketball over there at Memorial Gymnasium. Have any of the players said anything, even indirectly, about what's going on?
Not too much. We asked Scottie Pippen Jr. last week after the Kentucky game whether he thought Vanderbilt lost by 12. And we asked him whether he thought that the environment and kind of not having students and having a lot of big blue in that arena impacted the team's performance. And he was very non-committal, which I imagine is where he wants to sit and where this team wants to sit on this issue. But he did kind of say we're not foreign to playing in environments that, don't look black and gold. Even in Memorial Gymnasium, it's been a problem in recent years of having Tennessee fans, Kentucky fans, LSU fans kind of really flooding inside that gym on West End. And I think Scottie hit on that this isn't something that's entirely new. They also play a lot of tough road games in the SEC. So tried to keep his mind off of that. But no one's really said anything too high profile.
Justin, let's ask a kind of a personal question here. As being the editor of the Vanderbilt paper, the hustler there, you're following in some very big footsteps, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Incredible people have come before me doing a lot of really cool stuff in this industry. So lucky to have this position.
Let me think. Buster Olney was one of them. Was Skip Bayless part of the Vanderbilt student paper?
Yes, he was indeed. Sports editor in the late 60s, I believe.
Yeah. And then Buster Olney, the great stuff he does at ESPN. I'm leaving somebody out that I can't remember who it is right now. Willie Geist, maybe from NBC. I think he might have been over there too as well.
Possibly. Tyler Kepner, great baseball writer, also was a Vanderbilt Hustler alum. There are young guys out there as well who I've really followed. It's quite the pipeline. It really, really honored to be able to connect with a lot of them.
Well, you do. I like your article. You write really good, Justin. So thank you for doing this. We're going to have you on much more down the road, too, because when are you scheduled to graduate?
Graduating here in May 14th, 13th, I believe.
Well done. Where are you from?
Outside of Philadelphia, originally.
All right, well done, man. You come down to Vanderbilt, look at you now being the sports editor there. Justin, great job, man. Keep the focus, keep the fight up. I really appreciate you joining the show, man. Have a great day, and I hope Vanderbilt has a nice, successful night tonight.
Thanks so much, Joe. Enjoyed it, and happy to hop on whenever, so thank you.
All right, thank you. Justin Hershey, he's the sports editor of the Vanderbilt Hustler. You saw his Twitter page there. Great article he wrote, I guess a week and a half ago about, and he said it best about the convoluted policy over at Vanderbilt. I mean, you're not allowing students in at all, but students can still get in. It's weird. And that's why, last week we had Jared Stillman on to talk about from the perspective of the media, and then get Justin, who's also a student and working with Vanderbilt Hustler there, and not being allowed. I mean, the Tennessee game at Vanderbilt, that's a huge home court advantage for Vanderbilt, those games. They've had some epic games they've played over there throughout the years, so it's just really